What's up guys, Universal Mastery. So in today's video, what I'm going to be talking about is working with the dead. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing that I want to go into is what is working with the dead? What does it mean to open the gateways for the dead to flood into your life? Is it something that's really scary? Is it something that wants to harm you? Is it something that's going to ruin your life? Is it something that's going to destroy you from the inside out? That is a common notion that people attach anything that has to do with the dead, anything that has to do with necromancy, graveyards, to attach that and those things to a fear, some sort of fear where they're afraid of that. They're afraid that means something bad and it's something dark. And the truth of it is yes, it is very dark. 110% is one of the darkest aspects that you could dive into. But that darkness only means that that's just where you should shine more light so that you can uncover that darkness and really figure out what it actually means. So there's symbolism in all religions, in all texts that have to do with the death of something, the death of somebody. And then there tends to be, following death, a resurrection. So right there we have that yin yang, that balance, right? We have the death and then we have a rising. So you can't rise unless you die, and you can't die if you don't rise again. Meaning you don't die and then there's just nothingness for the rest of your life. There is going to be something else. There is going to be another plane that you go to, and that plane that you go to is based off what your own beliefs really believe where you're going. Okay, so a lot of you believe that there is heaven after death. You know, if you really believe that, then you will go to a place called heaven. But I'll tell you this, it won't be forever. You'll be there for a certain amount of time, and then you will eventually have to reincarnate again and start over and start over and start over until you break the reincarnation cycle, which is it's like a spiritual system that has been placed by these higher ups, let's just say that, where they're trying to get you trapped, so that, because they understand on a deep advanced level that most people are going to be trapped in the reincarnation cycle because they're guiding people to do that. So the key is to evolve yourself, become so aware, become so powerful, and build your own relationships with these really, really, really ancient beings so that they can show you how to break out of that reincarnation cycle. And a big part of that process is just being aware that there is a reincarnation cycle. So then, when you pass, let's say you broke in the reincarnation cycle, you're going to go and continue your ascension. You're going to go and you're going to continue your work. There's not going to be a heaven and there's not going to be a hell. There is just going to be another plane of existence, and that plane is going to be, it's a place where you can manifest things like this. You literally, you just put your mind on something, it creates itself. So you came down here, and I came down here for a reason, to make a physical manifestation, to build an empire, right? I came down here to build a something that is actually solid, right here, right now. This is one of the hardest realms, Earth, planets, to actually create things, because you actually have to believe it, and then you have to, put the right energy into it, and then you actually have to take physical action and make it happen, rather than where we come from, where things can just be built like that. So that whole process. Okay, that was a little side tangent, but I'm glad I said that. So when it comes to death, what is that? What is death, and what does opening the gateways to death mean? Okay, so this is one of the most advanced and powerful aspects that you can tap into is the understanding that death is not something that is bad. Death is something that is not something that is supposed to be scary to the point where you don't want to look at it. It is naturally going to be a little bit fearful. It's naturally going to be dark because it is these two things. But it is meant to be used and understood on a deeper level. And that deeper level is the fact that death can bring you power. Because if you can look at a skeleton, if you can look at something that correlates with death, and then transmute that to almost life, like transmute that to, okay, death can mean life, because that's all it means. All it means is physical death, like the body dying. That's why I wear the skull, and it also translates to different aspects of yourself that die and then are reborn. So you may have a bad habit, like let's say you have a bad smoking or drinking habit, and then you die to that, and now you're reborn and you don't have that habit anymore. Now you've put your energy into going to the gym, working out, just eating healthier, taking care of yourself, or dying to old social circles and rebuilding yourself in new ones. This is all what death means, and the more that you can understand that, the more that death is going to work with you and for you. Now, what does that mean, Jer? On a spiritual level, on a metaphysical level, there are spirits of the dead. There are people that have died and are spirits and roam around. There are beings that you can work with, very powerful beings that have dominion over spirits of the dead as well. Your own ancestors. I mean, like, what is your heritage? What is your blood? Where are you connected to? For me, I'm Norse. I have a lot of Norse, Viking, Scandinavian blood in me. So, I connect back to my ancestors. Guess what? My ancestors have died. And they are spiritual beings within themselves. And they want to connect with me. They want to work with me. And because I'm aware of that, they work in my life because I invite them in, and I will invite them in, and I'll also light an incense in their name and honor them and charge them to work in my life and connect even further with me. So, in other words, if you're thinking like, why would you want to do that? Well, they can help you in life. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Like, for example, let's say I'm working my job, someone's giving me a hard time. Next thing you know, that person that's giving me a hard time starts having bad luck. That, they can help in that way. They can start messing with people. They can mess with people's mind. They can plant certain thoughts in their heads. They can cause literal things to happen where they can't handle it. So, for example, most people are afraid of death. So if someone, let's say, is giving me a hard time, and they're actively trying to work against me, then death will start manifesting around that person. And because most people are afraid of death, and when I say that, I literally mean most people are terrified of it. And because they don't know the truth behind it, they don't know what really lies behind it. All they get is a dark sense of energy. So death will start to manifest around them, and that's its own energy within itself. So they'll start feeling really dark, and they'll start seeing like skulls pop up, and these skulls will send messages of be careful, just whatever that person is afraid of. They will do those things because they are working against someone who has that higher understanding. And I'm sharing this with you so that you can align yourself properly and equip yourself the way that you need to. Now, these beings will also expect you to be aligned with your purpose, okay? They will expect you to hold up a certain accountability within yourself. I mean, that's the one thing that I find very interesting. A lot of people talk about, you could have all this power and you could put it into all the wrong areas, and that is very true. But from what I've seen is that these beings will change you. They will make sure that you're using your abilities, your powers, your skills, your knowledge for reasons that are going to be purposeful. And they seem to snap you out. Like for the people that approach this stuff the wrong way and approach it with bad intentions, meaning they want to just dominate for their own selfish gain to the point where it's just literally like harming tons of innocent people, and just not even doing any work whatsoever. Those people tend to go insane eventually. They tend to lose their mind. They tend to like not know what's going on, and then they turn against this stuff, and then and they either stay insane or they go to religion and all this stuff. Okay, that they get to a point where they need to like grasp for reality. And that's a good thing, because if you're not aligned, if you're not ready to embrace this power and use it for what it's meant to be used for, then it's a good thing that they will change you and they'll snap you into place. I mean, think about it. Like you're sitting here, your ancestors, ancient, very ancient. They recognize you. They wanna speak to you. They want to show you things, and your spirit wants the same thing. Your higher self, your daemon, wants the same thing. You want to learn from your ancestors, but the physical ego, the body, the human part of us is like not there yet. So we may be thinking like, oh, I want this person to fall in love with me and all this stuff. And your ancestors are over here like, dude, you have an empire to build. Like, don't worry about that right now. Like, here's the torch. We want you to grasp it, and like we'll change your mind so that you get shit right, so that you can step into that. All that other stuff will come. All the stuff that you want, the riches, the fame, the money, the cars, whatever, that stuff will come, but focus on the work for now. Focus on your purpose for now. That's that type of mindset. So I'm going to leave it there. I just touched the surface of this, but that is the benefits that you can get from working with the dead, and that's like what working with the dead means. Once again, this is advanced, so these beings will change you on a massive level. So be ready for that if you're considering about going into this. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me, drop down in the comments or whatever. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, drop down. First link in my description will take you straight to my merch. I have very powerful shirts, so go check that out. And hit the notification bell because I'm posting videos as often as I can. And then I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. So peace.